ago today, one of the most high-profile murders in Jacksonville history sparked a nationwide debate about stand-your-ground laws and racial profiling. Michael Dunn, a middle-aged white guy, gunned down a 17-year-old black teenager, Jordan Davis, after an argument over loud rap music. Now, the new HBO documentary, 3.5 minutes, 10 bullets, shares the heartbreak of his parents who just wanted their boy back. Take a look.
And I told him it was going to be all right.
Like you were supposed to protect me.
Yeah.
You were supposed to protect me.
And I said, I know. I said, but I couldn't. I said, you know, something happened that was so unusual in its nature. There's no way anybody could protect him. What happened, it wasn't like he was in a bad neighborhood. He was 5 minutes from home. He wasn't late at night at 7:40 in the evening. He was with his good friends, all good boys.
Please welcome Ron Davis and Lucia McBath. So today is the 3rd anniversary of your son's truly senseless death. How you doing?
Just wrestling with it. It's very difficult today. It's been 3 years. It seems like it was this year.
Right.
You know, I know that you lost your brother this year.
Yeah.
And you know how we're going through this as a family. But we've had great people come through for us. You know, after Trayvon Martin's death, I received a text when Jordan died from Tracy Martin. And in that text, he said, you know, welcome to a club that no one wants to be a member.
Yeah. How you doing?
You know, this doesn't get any easier 3 years later. It's still very, very painful. In fact, you know, I have episodes all the time. One moment I think I'm okay, and I think I'm good. I can handle this. And then something will happen. I'll see an individual that looks like Jordan, or I'll hear loud music playing in the car, and I see teenagers, and it just wells up and starts all over again.
Brings it all back. Yes. You know, that's the phone call that every parent dreads, is getting that phone call like you received on November 23rd, 2012, when you learned of your son's death. Do you recall that conversation?
Yes, I do. I do recall that conversation. I was in Chicago at the time, and I still even have regrets to this day because I was imploring Jordan to come back to Chicago with me for Thanksgiving, you know, and he said, no, Mom, I want to come back to Atlanta. And he says, I'll just stay here in Jacksonville. And he talked about, you know, going shopping with his friends on Black Friday. He talked about all those things on Thanksgiving Day. You know, we had a great conversation. He said, you know, Mom, I love you. You've always been my #1 fan, my biggest cheerleader, and thank you. I haven't always told you that I love you, but thank you. And so then, you know, the next day, I saw my phone ringing in the bedroom. I just happened to be upstairs, and I picked up the phone, and, you know, first thing Ron says is, you know, where are you? And I said, I'm in Chicago. And he says, I need you to go get Earl. And I'm like, why do you need me to go get Earl? And at the time, I didn't know it's because he wanted someone with me when he had to actually tell me.
So, Ron, you always talk about the fact that these are suburban kids. It was 7 o'clock at night. It's loud music, being teenagers. I mean, so was it just... I'm trying to wrap my head around it because I don't know even what question to ask. I don't even know what question to ask. I
know it's the mentality. Once George Zimmerman got away with killing Trayvon Martin, it was like open season. You know, Michael Dunn had his gun. He said, this is the time that I could use my gun. You know, and he just happened to pull up on Jordan and these kids playing loud music. And he even rolled his window down just to confront them, knowing that he had a gun. Another gentleman that was in the parking lot, he pulled into the space, decided that he didn't like the loud music and pulled out of the space, and he goes home to his family because he made the right decision. Michael Dunn decided the opposite. I'm going to confront these kids, even though they didn't touch a hair on his head, never touched his car, but he's going to have a conversation, and throughout this conversation, if a black or brown kid is not going to listen to me, I'm going to pull my gun and shoot because I can get off on a stand your ground issue. They're going to take it into effect that what I was in my mind is what's going to go on because he never called 911.
Right.
And so he didn't fear for his life. And I hate that term. I hear that all the time, even from law enforcement. I feared for my life. They say the same things over and over. But you're the one with the gun. You're the one with the badge. You're the one that's doing the shooting. But you feared for your life.
Now, Michael Dunn is serving a life sentence behind bars. Before I ask you whether or not you guys thought you were going to get justice through this trial, in the film, we see you moments before that verdict fearing, quote, an open season on black teens. If Dunn was found innocent, he is spending the rest of his life behind bars. But what did you mean by that?
Well, because of what we'd seen with Trayvon's case and what we know in the minority community has been happening all along. And so it was just, we believed it was an extension of what there had already been, racial profiling. And with racial profiling, you know, people are acting out their fears against, you know, people that don't look, think, or act like them through gun violence. So I just thought, I said, you know, if we don't get a guilty verdict, then that's another slap in the face for us as minorities, that these kinds of atrocities still continue, and no one will be made accountable for it. You know, Michael Dunn will not be made accountable. And that's very, very painful to see that continue to happen around the country.
Yeah. Well, this documentary is going to knock your socks off, because the scary thing is, it could be any of your sons. This could happen to white kids, black kids, Latin kids, Asian kids. This can happen to anyone, you know? And so we want to thank y'all for being here. 3.5 Minutes, 10 Bullets airs tonight on HBO. Please watch it. It will change your thinking about what you think you're thinking. We'll be right back.